Let's get started by creating a new file. Click on File, New File. Click on File, Save. And you can save this file anywhere you want. I have a folder for this tutorial that I already created that I'm going to use. Select HTML, and you can call this file, you can name this file anything you want. I'm going to call mine Frankie's _ menu and click save. Let's close this and let's click that. Currently you'll see that it says open editors and it shows one file, but it says no folder opened. This is going to cause problems when we try and preview the file. So let's click open folder, and this should open up the folder you saved this file in. If not, just browse to that folder and say select folder. There we go. You can close this window and open Frankie's _ menu, or whatever you call this file. So let me open up our reference image. Okay, currently you see an error on my browser. You can just ignore that for now. So what we're going to build today is this menu down bottom right. It says Frankie's menu on the header, and we have a restaurant menu in a table format. We also have 3 headers: dish, description, price, and we have a second header underneath that describes the items that's following. So the first example is food, then we have pasta, then we have pizza, sweets, and drinks. So let's get started. So to get started, we need to create the base HTML for our file. VS Code comes with some shortcuts, so we can type in HTML and then make sure you are on the HTML5 option, and you can hit enter on that option. This will show, or this will auto add some content to your file. We can remove line 4 until line 6. We don't need those for this tutorial. Let's update the document title to say Frankie's menu. And so the document title, or just the title, the browser uses the value you enter between the opening and closing bracket as the value for your tab for the browser. I'll show you that in a minute. So let's hit File, Save to save this file, and you'll see my file got formatted. I will undo that in a moment. Then you can see again. So that was what it was, and then when I hit save, it formatted that for me. That's VS Code auto formatting my code for me. Let's redo that. Okay, so let's get started on the actual menu, or the actual page. So we are starting with Frankie's menu as the header. So let's create a header. We can use the h1 tag for this. Say Frankie's menu. So by default on your HTML pages, your main or your first header should always be a h1 or a header 1 tag. HTML supports up till 6 headers by default. So there's a h2, there's a h3, there's a h4, h5, and an h6 tag. For this tutorial, we're only going to use an h1 tag. Let's move on to the table. So the table format on this reference image, for that we can use a HTML table. Oops. So the reason we're using table for this tutorial is your browser by default adds some styling on an HTML table for you, and that gives us visually something to work with a lot less style. You don't have to add that much style sheets or custom code to get it to look like something. So let's start by creating the first header or the first row. So that's dish, description, and price. So inside an HTML table, we usually have a tbody as the content, the main body of the content, or the main body of the table, or we have a thead, table head. And for this first row, we need a table head, and then inside of a table head, you always have a tr, a table row. So that's the row element, the entire row. And then for the row header, we use a th element, table header, I think it stands for. And the first column is dish, second column is description, and the third column is price. Great, let's save that. And so you'll have to install this extension first. So up until now we've been writing just code, so we can't actually see how it looks visually. So we need to view this in our browser to visually see how our browser is going to render our table. So for this we need an extension for VS Code. So if you click on this icon, the bottom left, extensions, and search for live server. There we go. I already have this installed, so instead of uninstall, yours will say install. So click install, and the installation is finished. Go back to the top left button, the Explorer, and right click and say open with live server. There we go. This should open up your browser, and we have our header. So we have Frankie's menu, our first column, dish, description, and price. So currently it's not that easy to see where the table starts and ends, because by default the browser doesn't add a border on your table. We can fix that by adding border 1 pixel. Notice that border is highlighted in red. That's correct, because setting border on a table like this is a very old way of doing or setting borders on a table. I will show you a more modern way of setting the border in this tutorial in a couple of minutes. This is just for the beginning. Let's save that. And now we can see our borders are being set. We can increase the width, because currently your table is, the width of your table is currently calculated by the contents of the table. So we can increase the width to 600 pixels. Notice that setting the width on a table like this is always also an older way, so I will show you a newer way in a couple of minutes. So now we can see, if we hit save, our browser should refresh, and we can see our headers are now stretched a bit. Let's add a second row for the food column, the food header, and hit save. So now we see our food column is added in the second row, but it's only occupying 1 column. But we wanted to stretch over 3 columns. We can fix that by updating or adding an attribute on that specific column, and the attribute we want to add is colspan. So we tell this column how many columns should that column span for or occupy, and in this instance we wanted to go 1 for dish, 2 for description, and 3 for price. So let's save that. Great, now our food column is stretching all the way. Let's move on to our first food item. So make sure you're outside of the thead element, between the closing tag of table and the closing tag of thead. Then we create a tbody. And so this is going to follow the same pattern as the thead. Inside of a thead, we always start with a tr, a table row. And instead of using a table header for marinated olives, we now want a table cell, table data, so a column, and that's represented by a td element. So let's add marinated olives. Let's save that. Great. So now we can see our marinated olives is added to our table. Let's do the second column. You can copy and paste or type it out. It's up to you. Rosemary, orange, and chili. I'm going to do the price column as well, and that is $6. Let's save that, and our row or our new columns are added. Great. So I suggest so I showed you how to add a row. Now I suggest you pause the video and see if you can add shaved fennel salad, seared octopus, marinated seafood, and all the other ones up until just before pasta. And once you finish that, unpause the video and then you can have a look how I do it. So let's do the second one. TD shaved fennel salad. TD orange. I apologize for my spelling because I'm reading as I'm typing, so I might mistype something. Basil and ricotta. Salata. Yeah, that is $12. Save that one. Great. Let's do the third one. This one is seared octopus. TD black olive, and the price on this one is $16. Marinated seafood. There we go with clams, mussels, baby, calamari, and that price is $14. Just add the currency symbol. There we go. TD. So now we're on. I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm not going to even try. This one is SQ, so subject to question. Might be on the menu for the day, or it might not be on the menu. TD. Garlic, butter, and parm. here we now. Okay, balsamic. Okay. Pharaoh. Should probably try and pronounce all of these. I'm pretty sure you were a lot faster than I was adding the rest of your rows, so I apologize for taking so long. There we go. Seared. Caesar, I presume. Should have probably copied and pasted these. And then we have $15 on that one. Caesar, spicy pork, meatballs. Sounds tasty. Boom. Let me just fix the typo. Pomodoro. Ricotta and palm. Another one. Okay. Garlic and cheese. Yep. Cool. Garlic, cheese, more garlic, and more cheese. So just a note, this menu is from an actual restaurant, so I'm definitely not the author of the content. Japanese eggplant. TD aged balsamic and fried capers, I think pronounce it. TD okra, I'm assuming. Oops, made a mistake there. That should be a TD. Pomodoro. Black olive and chili. And this one is $12. Let's save that. See what that looks like. Great. Our menu is coming along great. Let's move on to, let's first see if I made any mistakes. So marinated olives, that one's fine. Marinated seafood, burrata. Yeah, I think they should all be fine. If they're not, I apologize. Let's move on to pasta. Again, I encourage you to pause the video and try and do the pizza section on your own, and then unpause the video and watch me do it very slowly. let's do our second one. TD pepperoni. I'm getting hungry while I'm doing this menu. Basil. TD $16. Okay. Spicy bee. Spicy salami, honey, and good cheese. I'm not a fan of goat cheese, but some of my friends love this specific pizza. Let's do the second one after that. The Speciato. This is my favorite pizza at this place. Fresh malls and chili. TD $70. Sausage and olive. Fresh. I think I might have made a copy and paste error on these, but it's fine. Basil. Oh no, it's different. TD $70. Cool. Let's go to the next one. Caramelized onion. Caramelized onion, depending on how you want to pronounce that. I'm not going to even try and pronounce that word. And oh, that's crispy, not spicy. Crispy. Is it shallot or shallow? I don't know. That should be a G, not an H. And that should not. No, that should be an H. There we go. Fungi. Cool. TD. Mushroom. Ragu. And sage. That's a spelling mistake there. Typo. Yeah, that's fine. And then we have $19 on that one. And then our last pizza, last but not the least, some more eggplant featuring here. S'mores and arugula. No, percentage. This is $18. Save that, and your browser should refresh. Great stuff. Let's move on to sweets. If you've been good, ate all your food, you can now get some sweets. So yet again, pause the video and see if you can do this yourself. Sweets. The Old Faithful. And that is $10. Salted caramel panna cotta. That sounds so good. TD smoked salt. Oh no, the salt does not smoke, it's smoked salt. Smoked salt and dulce. I think I know what that is. There we go. That's $10. Great. And let's move on to the drinks. To wash down everything we ate. Pause the video again and see if you can do the drinks one on your own. It's a good exercise. Drinks. TD. Coffee. TD. International beans. Great. It's $5. Don't know if coffee is that cheap though. Let's see. TD. So now we have some teas for our tea lovers, and the first one to feature is Rooibos, if I can spell it correctly. Tea or another tea featuring here, and it's the green tea. Last tea that's featuring is the Earl Grey. TD. $5. Save that. And scroll down. Yeah, great. Now all of our menu items are there.